Welcome to Rising to Excellence Admin Training. My name is Diana Rockwell, and I will be your presenter as we discuss form fill-ins in Word. Rising to Excellence provides training opportunities focused solely on the administrative professional. Follow us on social media for more information and announcements when new topics are released. Let's get started. If you don't have the latest and greatest Adobe product, Word can provide some of that functionality with their form fill-in features. The first thing you need to do is turn on the Developer tab under the File Options tab. If you've never ventured into this setting area in your Word program, it's got a plethora of information, options, and settings to customize your experience using Word. We will explore that in a later video. For now, let's concentrate on turning on that Developer tab. Click on the menu bar, click File, then along the left-hand side of the screen all the way down at the bottom, click on Options. Then click on the Customize ribbon in the list on the left side of the dialog box. In the right column of options, scroll down until you see an unchecked box named Developer. Check that box. Exit the Options menu and check the menu bar across the top of your document. Between View and Help, a new tab should have appeared named Developer. Most of what is in this drop-down menu will not be used for this purpose. The Visual Basic, macros, add-ins, XML mapping, and the like. What you should start with is an existing form to practice on. Make a test copy so you don't ruin your original form. Your options are Picture Controller, Building Block Gallery, Checkbox, Combo Box, Drop-down Control List, Date Picker, and Repeating Section. The final choice is Legacy Options. That gets a little confusing, so we'll save that for later. The first thing I want you to do is to try to insert a checkbox. By clicking that box, you can insert a checkbox where your cursor is on that page. If you want to change anything about the box, click on Properties. That choice will only be available if you are, quote, in the fill-in item. The next thing you want to try to set up is a text box. This field can be used to input several things like form-free text, a number, a date, etc. The drop-down box is one of my favorites. Think of it as multiple choice answers on a test. Or in the case of iOS or Android, or color choices and sizes on an order form. All can be done in Word. Just remember, the order you put them in remains. So plan ahead and enter those items on your document. By selecting Properties, you can change the field, change the color, and a few other style options. Naming the fields also makes it repeat if used in several locations. I just recently filled out a form that asked for a phone number in 2 different places. I suppose that in some instances the number would be different depending on who's filling out the form and who it's referring to. However, if the name fields are the same, the data input will be seen in both locations. There are also settings for maximum length, Remember seeing comment fields that can accommodate up to 50 characters or 200 characters? Or, as in Twitter, 180 characters or 140? 140. This is where they restrict it. My ordering system that I use on a daily basis only allows 24 characters in my description field. So you can imagine we've gotten very creative with descriptions. You can restrict to a number format, as in only a date field. Now we want to protect the template without any data in it. First, try it out to be sure it works the way you intended it. Use the tab to get through the form and make sure it goes from item to item correctly. Sometimes if you edit your document and add a field higher up, it will go to that last. So you want to make sure your tabs are in the right order. Click on the Restrict Editing button. A panel will show up on the right side of your screen with 3 options. Your fields will be grayed out to make them obvious. The restrictions can be to formatting or editing, or you can use number 3 to start enforcement of the restriction. This protects the body of the template and allows the data to be filled in. A password is optional. If you are with a larger corporation or have many people that will be using the form, it's best to protect it with a password. But don't lose it, because you can't retrieve it if you forget it, and you'll have to redo the form. That's a big caution. At one place I worked, we used this on a special form, and in the procedures manual, we had a dot placed under the word that we used as the password in the section describing how to use the form. It did have to change several times, so the procedure had to be reprinted, but that's a small price to pay for the added security. Conversely, you can turn off protection like a toggle going through the same process. That would be necessary if the template of the form needed to be changed. So now let's talk about the legacy tools. The legacy tools were the original form fill-in fields. And somewhere in the last decade, they changed this. Around the same time they changed the merge macro. So don't know why, but they did. If you click on the Legacy Tool button, many specific buttons will appear to choose from. There's a selection named Legacy Tools and one named ActiveX Controls. The only reason I would recommend using them is if you can't find what you need in the current menu. I do like the Reset Fields button though. This is what Word began its feature with many years ago, and how I learned to use them before Acrobat Reader had so many features. So let's talk about design mode, which seems to be the white elephant in the middle of the room. When do you use that? When are you designing a form from scratch? It toggles off and on, and if I'm correct in my thinking, it's on default under this tab. If you insert a field but want to change the placement, click off design mode and click on properties in order to make that change. To use the form, send it by email or store it in a shared folder or SharePoint site, Google Doc, Dropbox, Evernote, however you share documents. Once the person has completed the form, They will need to save it. Suggest they save it with their name for easy retrieval and send it back to you. There are established templates of often used business forms available with a quick internet search. Lots of people have resorted to using Google Docs as a shared version in order to complete these types of forms. However, if you need something more confidential, give this a try. The Google Doc allows everyone to see responses, and that may not be suitable for every need you have. There are also other applications to do forms such as Mock Forms, JotForm, 123 Form Builder, and many more. Some take specialized knowledge in the apps area of IT, and others are fairly straightforward. Some examples of how to use this feature include surveys, personal details to arrange travel for your executive, conflicts of interest for your board members or trustees, an apartment rental application, picture release forms, non-disclosure agreements, credit application, product surveys, even an employee application. Consider your form letters where you need to change specific phrases or other details, but the main body of the letter mostly remains static. Use form fill-ins so you don't forget to make those changes. I did a review of this website and it's a little outdated, but I think you can manage through most of the instructions coupled with my narrative to get this done. I'll pause for a second so you can write it down, or if it allows you to click on it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us as we discuss Word Form Fill-In. It's a great feature and often ignored for other options. We appreciate your spending your time with us today and encourage you to contact us with questions or suggestions for new topics. Rising to Excellence Admin Training focuses on providing short, easy to listen to training videos for administrative professionals at an affordable price. Bye for now.